And then there's a lot of people, I wanted to close and say there's a lot of people, they get up there and say, well, I don't deal with the minister because of Malcolm X. Now,
right. Let's talk about that.
Malcolm X Shabazz, right? For us, an Asur, respected elder. For us, he is our teacher, right? That made, even though he had a teacher, he himself was taught. If there was no Elijah Muhammad, there would be no El-Hajj Malik Shabazz in the capacity that we know him. So we give thanks to all of them. But I get a lot of pushback. I'm 54, so I was born 1 month after he was assassinated. But they don't love Malcolm X. For the 54 years of his assassination, we have been taking people to his place of his final resting place with his wife. They don't come. They don't know Malcolm's family. They don't support Malcolm's heritage. They read something and they think they know him when, if you ever met him in the early days, he would just point to Elijah Muhammad and say, that's the man that you should follow. And then later in his life, he offered something for unity. That's why I'm here. I'm representing my teacher, El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, in the capacity of the Organization of Afro-American Unity to continue to try to find some unity among us, even though that there is great pain. But I tell you, those people who say that they love Malcolm, every year, Brother James Small, Brother Starks, right, and under the command and Rodnell Collins, under the leadership of the sister Ella Collins, who is no longer here, Sister Ella Collins, asked pilgrims to come and to pay respect. It is the longest running pilgrimage holiday in the history of Black folks in America. And many of them say that they love Brother Malcolm, but they've not been to those activities. They love him in their mind, but that's just reactive, because the fact of the matter is, to love you can't just love Malcolm. You have to love your people. And to love your people, you have to cry, and there's pain. Very few people have more pain about El-Hajj Malik Shabazz's death than the Minister Louis Farrakhan. He lived in that time period. He asks himself, were there things that he could have done? Right? Was there? I was at the Apollo Theater when Malcolm's wife, Sister Betty, was there to meet Minister Louis Farrakhan and the First Lady Khadija. After the many years, you would have to be there to see the expression.
Go ahead, brother.
So much they lost in that so much time. The families. And here there is the issue where Malcolm's daughter is being accused of trying to assassinate or being part of assassination of Mr. Louis Farrakhan.
Wow.
And Black people are in this place. And if you weren't there, you wouldn't understand the great strengths that our people have to go through for unity, right?
Wow.
And so, but those people who said it, they weren't there. They weren't asked to come. They weren't asked to come because they didn't love neither of those people. They don't love our people. What they want to do is criticize, but then when you ask for their cup of water, right, it ain't clean.
Right.
But their criticism is clean. So
finally, I would like to thank Mr. Louis Farrakhan. You know him as Minister Farrakhan. For his original gentle words of assurance for my daughter and myself and her sisters, and for his suggestion of support. As he said, we will have to help Brother Malcolm's family. Minister Farrakhan, may the God of our forefathers forever guide you on your journey May your conceptual framework keeps broadening, and may you take up the mantle and do God's work. May the God of our forefathers always guide us. Thank you.
The government admits that it worked night and day to bring about a separation between Brother Malcolm X and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Once this division was accomplished, the government, by its own admission, had agents on both sides to manipulate the zeal and the ignorance inside the ranks of the Nation of Islam and among the followers of Brother Malcolm X to create the atmosphere that allowed him to be assassinated and the Nation of Islam to sustain wounds from which it has never recovered. The devastating resulting from this wicked machination of the government sent many brothers and sisters from the Nation of Islam back into drugs, crime, insanity, and it caused the destruction of entire families. Sister Betty Shabazz and her family has not recovered. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad's family has not recovered. My family has not recovered. The Nation of Islam has not recovered, and black people have not recovered from these terrible wounds. It is sad that there are those who do not want to see Sister Shabazz and I sit down to make an honest attempt at reconciliation when we are both victims of a wider conspiracy, a conspiracy that did not start with Malcolm X or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, a conspiracy that certainly did not start with Sister Betty or myself. This conspiracy started with the government of the United States because of its hatred of the movement that Malcolm X and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had generated, and the effect that these two men were having on black America. J. Edgar Hoover was determined that no black Messiah would rise to unite our people in their quest of justice and true liberation. And untold sums of taxpayers' dollars were used by the FBI to hurt the legitimate movement of our people toward liberation. Our zeal, our love and hatred, our ignorance was manipulated by powerful outside forces. We didn't voluntarily split from each other. There was manipulation. There was stimulation of our own pettiness, of our own weaknesses by outside forces, and the government of America is that outside force. The FBI is that outside force. So Betty and I shouldn't be here alone. The government has to answer for what has happened here.
I still see your shadows in my room. I can't take back the love